So we talked about Copilot being biased, and we here at Contica has talked a lot about what does it mean to be biased and how do you change someone's mind, and in this case, Copilot. How do we, when we have a new idea, a better solution for something, and like we start to push this to GitHub, and I mean, how long would it take to actually for GitHub Copilot to change its mind, to be like
Yeah,
now it's
so
this?
that's a really interesting question. I don't know what schedule it runs on in terms of how
Yeah.
often it trains itself.
Mm,
But like anything else, when an idea sparks a community,
mm,
a lot of people jump in, right? And a
mm,
lot of people generate good quality output.
mm,
You know, I like to think of myself as a fast follower of technology rather
mm,
than an early adopter of technology. I mean, there are certain things I absolutely love early adoption on, but fast following does mean that you ride on the coattails of those people who have done the work before you. So I don't know how often it happens, but at the same time, if you've got a bunch of windows open that have code in them, then it can inspect those as well, right? Or it will inspect those as well. So, a great
mm,
example might be things like patterns and practices, for instance, which it may not be able to pick up from a bunch of data that's in repos, but it can certainly do some of those things if you've got things that are already open, right? So,
mm,
so I guess the simple answer to that is that, like all things, and like bias more generally, if you look at
mm,
cultural bias as a
mm.
good example,
Yeah.
um, cultural bias can take decades to change.
Mm,
Right now,
mm,
I'm not saying GitHub Copilot will take decades to change, because the rate of change of those kind of solutions is much greater,
mm,
but it does require time.
mm,
So, so I think if there is a brand, we all know JavaScript changes with the flip of a coin, right? So if there is a brand new JavaScript framework tomorrow, um, will you be able to get a bunch of information out about it?
mm,
Probably not right away, right?
mm.
Will you
Yeah.
be able to in a week's time? Depends on how many people have pushed code
Yeah.
and whether that has been brought into the
Yeah.
model. And I think that's it's always worth remembering, right?
Yeah.
But then we should also never be afraid about the fact that when it comes to building solutions, we can only build solutions with the information that we have,
Mm,
right? So I'm very famous in my current job of saying the only wrong decision is indecision, right? So sometimes you have to make a decision to choose a particular technical path
mm,
because you've got to basically get stuff done.
yeah.
So sometimes you just have to live with the fact that you might have to refactor.
Mm,
You might have to have a small amount of technical debt whilst you solve a problem.
mm,
And in software delivery, and integration is just a part of software delivery. You know what? That's actually okay.
mm,
So we can't always expect to have something that's got the latest and greatest because it's just not available yet. And
mm.
honestly, if that is the case, and there is something that's at the forefront of everything else, Google it. Right? It's
Yeah.
that because again, it's a tool, so it will get you some of the way, but it won't solve all of your problems. So it
Yeah.
doesn't devolve you the responsibility of doing your own groundwork.
Yeah.